What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking you outside again so that we can explore what my property looks like with rain. It's currently raining right now, and we're going to take a look at what that rain does to the property that I bought. I just did buy 3.81 acres. When it rains here, I had no idea of what it was going to do to the land. When I first bought this property, it was beautiful out. It was not raining. I didn't know what it was going to be like after it rained, and ever since living here, I have completely found out. I'm going to take you outside while it's raining so that I can show you exactly what it's been doing to my property and what I have to deal with. As I take you around my property, if you guys have any ideas on how to remedy these areas of flood, please drop them in the comments below, because I am kind of at a loss right now at what to do. I could use all the ideas that I could get so that I could make my property better living. Now, once I start having guests here, I'm going to need to figure out what to do to make them have a more comfortable stay, because like if they stayed in the rain and they wanted to walk my property, there's just a lot of puddles out there. I need some kind of idea to either build up over it or to put something over it so that people aren't going to be walking in these flooded areas. I'm going to be wearing my chicken boots because they're basically waterproof, mud-proof, and I can walk through the puddles. We're going to do that right now, and let's get to it. All right, so we're going out here and looking at all of what the rain does to my property. I'm like standing in a bunch of water, and this is just on regular grass. Floods under there. It floods along the entire house. Thank goodness there's underpinning there, because if that was leading into the house, I don't know what I would do. Now, when we go over here by the garage, this is one of the biggest problems. This whole area right here floods. Probably goes into the chicken coop, as I've noticed. But again, huge puddle and all this standing water that just sits here. This is kind of sloped down a little bit, so this area right here also floods. In the future, I'm going to have to do something about this. It's just a lot of the area slopes down. Same thing back here as we walk back here to the back of the house. More standing water. More standing water in here. It's not even really sloped in this section, but the rain gathers here and makes a huge puddle, so that's not good. This whole thing too gets all this standing water here, and it's just something that I'm going to have to take care of. We come around here to the chicken coop, same thing, kind of floods in this little section right here. It's also been flooding-ish inside the chicken coop in little sections right there. I don't know if that's because of water underneath the ground. It's flooding over there by the door, and chickens do not like to be in muddy or water. Good morning, girls. Look at those pretty girls. But it does flood around here. It's also been flooding in this section over here. This is where a lot of the water used to go. It would tunnel all the way into there and go into the chicken coop. So that's one reason why I put this mulch spot there, was to hopefully soak up some of that water and keep it from going into the chicken coop. Now, even this area over here underneath the pine tree, lots of standing water. It's probably because this section does start to drop down, kind of veers down going that way, which is why it goes into the garage area. And I've even opened up the garage and there's been water that's seeping into the garage. Same with into the chicken coop on this side. There's water starting to gather on the inside of there. But eventually I'd like to make this area into maybe a little shallow something. I don't know, maybe a little fountain area or a little garden area where it just gathers water and it doesn't go onto the ground as much. It like fills a pool type thing and allows the plants to grow within it. Now, same here. This is where the utilities were installed. More sitting water here. More sitting water in here. And now this is because there's like little hills here and little slants on the land where of course it's going to be more able to gather up water. Over here, again, where the utilities were installed, these divots were left. These are in my driveway. I could either fill those with rocks, just fill them in with something so that they are not so flooded. It makes it worse when I drive over them. Now, my neighbor has told me that his driveway all the way down there gets flooded because there's a hill. My hill goes into his driveway, so it does flood a section of his driveway. I'll take you down there now. This is my neighbor's driveway and my hill kind of slants into his driveway. A lot of the sections on his driveway are flooded, probably due to the rain going down from my section. And then he's even got a section over there that floods. So he's constantly scraping his driveway in order to keep it correct and level. He's got another huge section up there that floods, all because of sloped land. In here that floods just because this whole area travels down to here. So a lot of these areas I could probably make into little ponds or just little things that would be able to take away from all of this flooding. It's unfortunate that some of the land is sloped, but I don't think that I'm in a flood zone or anything, so my tiny house being up on the foundation is actually really good. This will be my parking lot, so that'll be levelish there. Now, walking over here, one of the things I am concerned about is that there is a slope going down here, and that's where one of my rock paths is going to be. I'm going to have it go all the way up here. So this slope right here is going to cause my driveway to basically to wash out in specific areas. I'm looking for suggestions on how to help that. I've thought about landscape pavers, which are basically these net-looking things that would retain the rocks and hold the rocks inside them so that they don't flush away and make big divots in the road. My neighbor does have his driveway going from there all the way down, and those divots are caused in that section right there. I'm going to learn from that and try to prevent that happening here. This is where my driveway is going to start. It's going to come into here and go all the way down to this area down by the wildflower gardens. But again, there's another slope, another drop off down here that I'm concerned about, the rocks washing away. So I'm going to have to do something with this section, probably with more landscape pavers for the water not to gather or to wash away the rocks. So that path is going to go down here and go into that section, and quite honestly it's a pretty big slope. I can see that the rocks would be washed away and divots in the rocks would be caused, and I'd either have to have it graded frequently, which I don't really want to do because I don't have anything to grade it with. And then I don't know if I want to put that rock path through here anymore, which maybe I will, so that all of this water can be drained into the rocks as opposed to just being sitting on here on this muddy, wet land. I thought about putting the rocks through here or putting them on the other side of the trees, but I'm kind of thinking I might do it in this section here because this is a really muddy section. Now, another part of my land is this little section over here. I wanted to have this as a little camp spot, but as you can see, there's pretty much a little lake here with like a stream going through it. that area right there is going to be, that's mine, and it's fenced off by my neighbor's yard where he keeps his goats. But as you can see, all of it is kind of flooded already, and it does make this stream going down here. So if I did have a camp spot up there, I would just have to make sure to do something with this area. Maybe put a bridge there, maybe even create it into a little stream so that when it does rain, it's something nice to look at rather than something to maintain. But that little camp spot, they'll probably be able to feed the neighbors' goats and have a cute little experience camping there. And as I walk back up to the property, there's more mucky slopes and hills right here where water gathers. Would be pretty nice to put something over all of this so that guests in the future could have a nice place to stay as opposed to being washed out from the rain. Hello, sweet girls! That is a lot of water on my property that I did not expect that I was going to have to deal with. Actually, having it rain while you go and look at your property for your tiny house, that might make it a better decision on your part if you see exactly where the water gathers and if you could do something about it, because I did not know that it was going to flood this way when I was looking at land. Through my experience, I can show you guys that there's a ton of parts on my land that flood, and it's nuts to deal with because I am constantly walking in water if I decide to go out there when it's raining. I am very grateful that I did have a foundation built for my tiny house before I got here. The rain doesn't really gather in that area, so my house is basically protected and it's not sinking into the mud. It's not on unlevel land. It is on a completely level spot. Even if you do get land that does have little flood zones here and there, make sure you put a foundation up for your tiny house, especially if you're going to be living there long term, because you don't want something like the rain or puddles or just bunch of water to affect your tiny house. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and click the notifications bell so you can receive a notification each time I post a new video, which is every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. All the ideas that I could get to better, don't put that. And once I start having guests here, I'm gonna want them to, don't put that. If you are looking for land for your tiny house, make sure that you probably want, don't put that. That might help you make a better decision, don't put that. That might help you make, don't put that either. I'm learning a lot about these French latrines that I'm gonna, not French latrines, don't put that. I'm learning a lot about these, don't put that.